Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Proxar, and today I'm going to go over how to survive the storm and how to actually be immune inside of the storm for a temporary amount of time. And if you do learn anything, make sure to leave a like and leave a comment, and also subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And let's get straight into it. So I'm sure this has happened to every one of you at some point or another, where you're just too busy looting or fighting or whatever you're doing, and you lose track of where the storm is and where you are in relation to the next circle that you need to be in. So you get caught up in the storm and you just don't want to be there, of course, because that is one of the worst ways to die, is not having either enough health items or just being too far, where you have all the bandages and medkits in the world, but it's just too far and too much damage that you're not going to be able to make it. So I just want to go over some information that might help you guys get out of the storm and back into the circle and win more games. So first, I'm going to go over how to heal properly when you're actually in the storm. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be talking like the storm is only doing 1 damage to 2 damage. Later on in the game, if you get caught in the storm, it's going to be doing even more damage, up to 5, then 10. Ridiculous amounts of damage towards the end, but usually the circle is closing very slow at that point, and most people don't really get caught in the storm. So I'm just going to be talking about the storm that catches the most people, which is the one that does 1 or 2 damage. So I'm just going to use the example of you having 15 bandages and you're stuck in the storm and it's doing 1 damage. Now if you're stuck in the storm, it's only doing 1 damage, and let's say you have 100 health, then you should wait until you're down to at least 15 health to actually use those bandages. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first one is you actually need to, because the bandages take 4 seconds to heal, which means you're going to be taking 4 damage while you're actually healing. So when you're in that storm, you're going to have to wait till you're at 4 health, but I would just call it safe and do it at 15 health, just in case you somehow mess up or something goes wrong. You just want to have some extra time to actually heal, because no one wants to die inside of the storm. And the second reason is you don't want to actually bandage unless you have to when you're only taking 1 damage from the storm, because you want to be using all that time to try and run into the next circle before you start taking that 2 damage from when the circle actually shrinks onto the circle you're trying to get to. So if you're spending all your time while you're in the storm running to that circle instead of healing, you'll actually get there faster and maybe be able to avoid 2 damage or avoid less time being in the storm while it is doing 2 damage. So next is medkits, and usually you wouldn't have medkits in the beginning of the game, but sometimes you do. So if you do, you are definitely lucky, because this can heal you all the way to 100. Now personally, I like to use bandages and medkits and keep those both with me if I can find them, of course. It's pretty hard to find medkits, but if you can, I would use the bandages while you're in the storm until you get close enough to the storm where you can actually run out and maybe have a little bit of health left, so you can get the most out of your medkit and not use it in the storm unless you really have to, because then you can get 100 health once you get out of the storm. But if all you have is 1 medkit and you're stuck in the storm, then you really need to time this perfectly. So you need to know that the medkit takes 10 seconds to actually heal you. So if you're only taking 1 damage, that means you need about 11 seconds to actually start it until you actually heal up all the way, so you can get the most out of that medkit and be able to get out of the storm. But something else sometimes that happens is that you're in the storm and you're taking 1 damage, but you start healing and then all of a sudden you start taking 2. So you really need to be careful with timing it. You need to be managing where the storm is. So if you just want to play it safe, I would say start healing at 21 health. That way you'll get the most out of your medkit, and if the circle actually hits and you're not sure where the circle is, or you're just running through and you can't look at your map at the moment, then you just heal at that 21 health, just in case it does turn into 2. You don't want to die trying to heal with your medkit. You don't want to die trying to heal with your medkit, because you're just trying to squeeze out a few extra health from that only medkit you have. And next, I want to go over how to be actually immune in the storm if you're only taking 1 damage, and you can do this over 25 seconds, and that is with the slurp juice. Some of you may have guessed it, and some of you may have already seen this, but it's pretty amazing that you can actually be immune in the storm if you're only taking 1 damage. And I showed you guys here, I was lucky enough to find this in my first game, and I just kind of hung around in the storm just to show this off, that you're actually able to take the slurp juice and it gives you 1 health every second. If you're only losing 1 health every second, then you're basically immune for 25 seconds. And a good way to measure how long this is actually going to last is to look at the shield, and you can see it counting up, and then once it hits 25, of course, it's over. So that's a good gauge of how long you have this immunity inside of the storm if it's only doing 1 damage. So I hope these tips help you survive the storm more often and win more games. So again, if you enjoyed the video or learned anything, make sure to leave a like and also leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I will see you guys in the next one.